Hello everybody, and welcome to a study with me video. In this video you're seeing how I basically try to study throughout the day when I can. On this day I don't really remember what was going on, but I was able to do a whole day of studying. I don't remember what day this is actually even, but I had no sessions that day. Actually, did I have evening? I don't remember if I had evening sessions, but I think I had no sessions, and I just wanted to study. And so you're going to kind of see a little bit of the chaos of me trying to study with two kids. And my husband was home this day, so that was helpful, but it was still like hard. And here I'm pumping, so this is the morning time. And usually in the morning when I'm pumping, I like to study because it's like a good chunk of time that I'm pumping, since I'm pumping fewer times during the day. I'm doing longer sessions of pumping. So in the morning I usually listen to a devotion, listen to a sermon, read my Bible, journal, and then study. So I get all that done in that time that I'm pumping. And so here you're gonna see in a second that like my son is gonna start needing, I don't remember what he needed, but my husband needed help, so then I had to stop and help him with him. And that's kind of how my day goes. But I like thought that it would be, you know what, you would think that like with all the distractions of being a mom that like it would be harder to study, and it is kind of harder to study, but it's not hard to retain information, if that makes sense. Like honestly, I think in college when I had no kids, no husband, nothing to do but study, it was harder for me to focus. And I don't know why. That's so interesting, because you would think that it would be the opposite, that it would be harder for me to focus now because I have more distractions. But I think that because I have such few times that I'm able to study, I really know that I have to maximize that time by really focusing on those few minutes that I do get throughout the day to study. And so maybe that's why. And I think in college, like, you just have all this ample amount of time to study, and that makes it easier to take that time for granted and start doing other things and get distracted and you know goof around or whatever. But it's so funny because like I'll be in supervision, for example, in like a supervision group, and somebody will say something and I'll be like, that reminds me of something I literally just read a few days ago in my study book. And then I'll like pull out a theory. Like the other day somebody said something about one of her clients, and was asking for basically advice from the group. And then I was able to pull, I don't remember which theorist I talked about. I think it was Bandura. It might have been Bandura. I don't remember. But I was talking about that theorist and that theory and how that could apply to her case, and how that might be beneficial for her. I was also able to, somebody said something in a different supervision group that I'm part of, and then like I remembered, it just reminded me of a different theorist and a different theory, and like I find myself throughout the day, if something reminds me of something that I've read in my book, like I like say it out loud, like I'll just say, oh, social learning theory, or like whatever. So right now in case you're wondering what study book I'm using the Encyclopedia of Counseling. People have talked about that book since I was in graduate school, and so I was like, well, I have to get it if that's what people are saying, it's helping them pass this test. So that's what I'm working through. I'm in the group therapy section right now, reading through that. And basically my study strategy is to read the book and to listen to his audio CDs. I'm not an auditory learner though, I'm more kinesthetic, and so I found that, and especially with two kids, like I might turn on the CD player, but if I'm in the other, like I might end up in a completely other side of the house doing something else, so then I have to bring it with me, and then I have to stop and take this kid to the potty, and I have to change that diaper, and then I have to go do cook dinner. I have to do different things all around the house. I can't carry around a CD player. I really wish they would put that in like an MP3 format so that you can listen to it on Apple Music or something like that. Like you would think that by now they would have done that, but I don't know what the deal is. That would be much more beneficial than having it on CD. you know, in this day and age. But I did find on YouTube, there's like, he has a YouTube channel, and he has a like 43-minute, like basically overview of you know, a study overview. And he goes through different test questions, or different questions, and talks about them over that time. And I've listened to that. I plan on listening to it again when I get closer to my exam, because it's really meant for like basically just your last ditch studying thing right before, like not right before your exam, but you know, before your exam. My exam's in June. And so at the time of recording this, it's, what is this? It's April right now. So the time that you're going to be seeing this, it'll be May. So anyway, just to give you perspective, I'm trying to figure out if I should, when I take my test and when I find out, because you find out instantly if you passed or failed. When I find out if I passed or failed, should I tell you in my voiceover? Should I, you know, wait until, I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, I'll figure that out later. But yeah, so that's basically my study strategy, is basically to just get it in where I can. I'm finding that reading the book is helping me more than the audio tapes or recording or CDs, whatever. And basically that's because I'm kinesthetic. I like to see things visually. I like to, you know, have my book, and I can take notes, and I can, you know, it's just better for me to have the physical book. But the audio, you know, thing, CD, is good too, because like if I get busy and I'm just like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to study today, then at least I can play that in the background, so it's like subconsciously like in my mind, I guess. And maybe I'll tune in and out mentally throughout the day and hear, you know, him say something that I didn't know that I needed a reminder of. That's how it's helpful for me as far as the CDs go. But I would say by and large the book is the way to go for me. So after I read the book, usually like I'll go into my theory book. I think I talked about this in my sick studying video, but whatever, I'll talk about it again. I go into my theory book, and that I got when I was in graduate school. And I'll just like choose a theorist, and I'm going in order in my book. So whatever the next theorist is, that's who I write in the middle of my notebook. I'll write that person's name, and then I'll put like little, basically make it like a web, and like put little, you know, anecdotes about that person or that theory, and things that I think will help me remember, you know, all the things, or if they have like different stages or steps or whatever, then I'll try and draw a visual depiction of the stages so that it helps me remember the stages better. So for example, I have my notepad right here in front of me, and I can tell you, give you an example. Let's see here. I still have that cough from when I was sick, just a little bit. So like the 5 layers of pie with Fritz Perls, the Gestalt founder, okay? 5 layers of pie, and it's PPIIE. So how I remember that is, okay, I drew a pie with 5 layers on it, and a cherry on top. And the first, and I actually wrote out pie, the word pie, P-I-E, but I did 2 P's, 2 I's, and 1 E, so that I know, like, you know, the first one starts with a P, so phony, and that can be remembered because phony is superficial, and that's the first level. Phobic is the second level. The next one is impasse, then implosive, then explosive. Now, I am not yet at the point where I can remember all of them. I can literally remember easily phony and explosive, the first and the last. Then by default, there's only one other P, so that's phobic. And then impasse and implosive, I think implosive and explosive will be easy to remember. They go together. So that'll be another one that I can remember easily. Ask me what they mean though, and phony I just told you. Phobic, that's the fear that others will reject you. Impasse feels stuck. I put struck, but I think I meant stuck. Implosive, willingness to expose your true self. Explosive, the person has relief due to the authenticity. So explosive like SpongeBob. being himself. I don't know. I'll figure out my little things. But I do remember the 5 layers of pie, and hopefully that is helpful. But for me, as I continue studying, because I clearly need to keep studying. But yeah, the book is a good one because I don't get bored of it too easily. And even in the book, when he says, like, if you notice that you're starting to, like, get bored, or you're not able to retain the information and you're rereading the same questions, then that's like a sign that you need to stop. And so I do take what he says, like his little hints and tricks in there. I take those things seriously and I try to do them because he says they help. And so I'm trying to implement those strategies that are in his book. So yeah. So here is where things start to get stressful for me. My husband is trying to figure out why my son's crying. I am still strapped to the pump and trying to study, and then I ultimately decide to just go ahead and help him with the pump stretch. To me, I just hate moving around with that thing. Anyway, after that was the end of me studying in the morning. I then, later in the afternoon, we went outside and my daughter played on our playground in the backyard, and I studied. My son was taking a nap. My husband was doing yard work. So I took my stuff, took my business outside. It was nice. I like to be outside and do work or study outside as much as I can when it's nice outside, because in Wisconsin you don't get a lot of nice days like that. It was, I think, in the 60s, maybe upper 60s, and very sunny. So it was really nice, and I really like the warm weather and wish I lived somewhere warmer, but here we are. So even here, like, you could see, like, I'm straining my eyes and I'm uncomfortable because it was too sunny, and so I eventually, like, put my umbrella up, and then my phone fell and it was just a whole thing. But then I got readjusted and I continued to study. And I think I got, how much studying did I get done that day? I think I got, like, I want to say maybe an hour? Maybe an hour of studying done, because it was broken up throughout the day. So maybe 2, I don't really know. But like I said, I'm retaining the information more than I would have when I was in school. And I think that that's because I know that the time that I get to study and really focus on the studies is so few and far between that, like, I have to maximize that time to actually study. So I have a new appreciation for moms who are in school. I could not do it. I mean, I probably could, but I would be very stressed out. And I would not want to do that. Like, I'm only just studying for just a couple of months for this test, I can't imagine doing this for years and years and years like some people do. And I'm grateful that I had kids after graduate school. I sometimes wish I'd waited maybe another year or 2, but then I know the amount of kids that I want and how far apart I want them to be. And I just know science, as far as losing your 90% of your eggs by the time you're 30, and the eggs that are left are not as, like, fit or whatever as the ones that you had when you were in your 20s and things like that. So I'm like, okay, well, time and biology are not with me on that, so I just have to make compromises or whatever where I can, and make the sacrifices. Moms make lots of sacrifices, I've noticed. A lot of sacrifices. Oh, get this. So I was talking to my husband. I don't know if I said this in this. Did I say this in this video? No, I didn't. I was talking to my husband, and we were comparing the amount of time that we've been in that we were in graduate school and studying and before getting licensed. And my husband, he's a pharmacist. He was in school for 7 years total. That's undergrad and graduate school combined. And then after graduate school, he took his board exam and got licensed immediately and started working. for a counselor, at least in Wisconsin, that's 7 years total. So I was in undergrad 4 years, and then 3 years of graduate school. And then you get your training license, and then you can work with your training license for 2 years, or 3,000 hours. So it's 3,000 hours, which equals about 2 years full time. And then you have to take your board exam, and then you get licensed. And I'm just like, okay, so the amount of training I have to do is more than you as a pharmacist, and I make a lot less than you, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, you would think, you know, a pharmacist's job is more, to me, it's more like work, I think. It's more serious, in my opinion, because I can't kill somebody, you know, if I misdiagnose you or, you know, say something that offends you in session. It's not going to kill you. But if a pharmacist miscalculates, it can kill you. So, like, that's serious. You needed less training than I do? Are you kidding? Make it make sense. I just don't understand why it's the way that it is. And who decided 3,000 hours post-grad that you needed before getting fully licensed? Why did they come to that decision? Nobody explains this to us. Like, where did these decisions come from, and how come, and what study, you know, what study did they do to determine that at 3,000 hours you are competent enough to practice independently, but a pharmacist can, you know, leave graduate school and start practicing independently immediately? Make it make sense. Just please make it make sense. Because it doesn't make sense to us. Neither of us. We were scratching our heads figuring that one out. Anyway, we all complain about it, but yeah, we all do it. We get through the 3,000 hours and do our time, and then fully license for the rest of our career, and then, you know, then you say to the next person that's in, you know, in the training stage, like, well, we all have to do it. So I don't know what to tell you. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I had to get up. I don't remember what my daughter needed, but she needed something from me. So I had to get up and help her with that. I think I was taking toys out for her or something. And she kept asking me to push her on the swing. I kept telling her, let me finish reading this book, and then I will come push you on the swing. Please don't ask me again, or I won't push you on the swing. Okay, so then I was trying to record me studying at night, right? And I didn't realize that I had it backwards. So I just included this in here so you can see this is how tired I was, that I didn't even notice that for a half an hour, I think it was like half an hour to 40 minutes or whatever, I was recording backwards the entire time. So you could see, and even when I'm in these really tired states, I still retain the information that I read the night before. It's crazy. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content, and goodbye.